I'm Parson Michael Malley, and this is Dharma Talks from Sacred Ground. Reflections and meditations brought to you from the Sacred Ground Community Church and Sangha. Today's Dharma Talk was originally shared on January 17th, 2021, during our Sunday morning Sacred Ground service. It's January 17th, so we're about halfway through the first month of the year. And like many of you, I sometimes set resolutions for the new year. And this is really a continuation from last year and partially a response to us being kind of closed in with COVID. But I have an aspiration of getting outside for an hour a day to work out in the yard, whatever it might be that I do. Picking up dog doo-doo or chopping wood or whatever it might be. And some time ago I started cutting back. We have a lot of honeysuckle in our yard and just outside the fence. And I cut it back, but then I still have the little root of the honeysuckle plants, and of course in spring it will grow right back. So one of the things that I started doing is taking I think it's a pickaxe, and chopping away to cut the roots and pull up the honeysuckle. And when I work outside like this, I see it as good for my spirit, my soul, also good for my body, getting a little exercise. And my mind tends to relax. But the other thing that happens is that new thoughts pop in. And one of the things that I've noticed is that sometimes fresh metaphors arise. And so when I was working on the honeysuckle the other day, I thought to myself, wow, this is a good metaphor for the issues or problems that we're facing as a nation, as a society, maybe as a planet. We've kind of allowed the honeysuckle to grow without doing much about it for years in our family. And we've allowed hatred to grow. We've allowed racism to increase unabated without doing too much about it. And those roots then just go everywhere. And I started thinking, oh my gosh, if I look in the yard, there's just these little clumps where the honeysuckle is all over the place. And I can't eradicate it all at once, but there's something right there. I can go after this, right? And there's roots there, and so sometimes it's not easy to get it up and get it out, and so it requires a little bit of focus, perseverance, diligence. If you're like me, I'd like to figure out what's the one solution, that we could solve all the problems for America or the world. And there's not just this one simple solution. It's going to take a lot of effort. And part of the problems involve the suffering of others, including the suffering of those who violently rioted at the Capitol building on January 6th. And those that, here we are in the next few days, there could be more of that. Hopefully there won't be, but there may be. And I was thinking, when Ollie was sharing, she said, America is burning with hatred. And she's reading the words of Thich Nhat Hanh from 2001, 20 years ago. And I think too, I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. I grew up in a suburb of Youngstown, Struthers, Ohio. And when I was a teenager, in 1980, they shut the mills down on us. And what's been done for Youngstown, Ohio in the 40 plus years since then? This is an area that was solidly Democratic. What have the Democrats done for those folks? And so when other people with other voices come along and say that they care about them, people grab for that. So that suffering is now generational. And of course, people of color, other marginalized people, their suffering is, oh my gosh, how long standing? And I think about that metaphor of going with a pickaxe and getting up these roots. And I've got this one little area with about 6 big clumps of honeysuckle that I have to get out. And I realize if I get all of this out, and I've kind of loosened up the earth, and I get all these roots out of here, isn't it possible, isn't it likely, that I've just kind of loosened the ground so that more honeysuckle roots, more invasive plants can just come and fill that space? So like those 7 evil spirits, worse than the first, can just come in and take up that ground, unless I plant something else there and give my care and nurturance to something else. Hopefully some elderberries or some raspberries. And right now we're thinking, oh my gosh, we just have to stop the rioters. We have to stop them. And of course we do. We can't allow that. That's what we have, the National Guard in our nation's capital and here in the state capital of Ohio, Columbus, and all over the country. But that's also not enough. We have to move towards what Thich Nhat Hanh says, the compassion, the understanding. What Jesus spoke of as the love of the so-called enemy. And bring care to others. All this is happening in the context of more and more deaths from the coronavirus. We're hardly even talking about the global climate change, which is horrific. Many of us are stressed in our relationships sometimes because of the political divide, sometimes just from the stress of being so bound in together. But a question that I just bring up for myself, and if it's of any value to you, is, why are we here? I spoke of 40 years ago, the shutting down of the mills that I could remember. 40 years from now, if I'm not gone, I'm a pretty old man. We have a limited time here. And I believe that Jesus and the Buddha and our Mother Earth itself are inviting us again and again and again towards compassion, caring, healing, making things better. It's not going to be easy, simple, or quick. But I don't believe that that's just what I'm called to do. I might be right, I might be wrong. Maybe I'm arrogant in thinking that, how do I know? But I think that's what you're here to do. You might be gone in 40 years or 60 years, or any of us might be gone tomorrow. But what are we here to do? If not to bring more understanding, love, and compassion into this world. I'm Parson Michael Malley, and you've been listening to Dharma Talks from Sacred Ground.